We are 6 days and counting until the Democratic National Convention comes here to Chicago. And today, a major decision by a federal judge on the path protesters want to take in the city. Charlie Wojciechowski joins us now live from the Dirksen Federal Building with the very latest. Charlie?
Well, Kate, we still have a news conference going on behind me talking about that judge's ruling. What she said was she is approving the city's decision to have a 1 mile or so marching route. The group, including many Palestinian groups, wanted to have a 2 mile or greater route. They say that's what they need so that everyone's voice can be heard. Still, the city says it is ready for the DNC and ready for the protesters. At Chicago's Office of Emergency Management and Communications, the final tabletop exercise, a last chance for city and federal officials to find problems or ways to improve Chicago's plan for the Democratic National Convention.
Let me be absolutely clear. The city of Chicago is ready to host the 2024 Democratic National Convention.
Ready with security fencing like this going up around McCormick Place and the United Center, the two main venues for the convention. Chula Ortiz lives nearby.
I don't see any worrisome. People say that they're going to be peaceful. So I expect them to be peaceful.
An expectation Chicago police say they intend to enforce.
We want to make sure that everyone who's coming to the city of Chicago, all of our residents, everyone who is participating are safe.
You know, obviously, we want to make sure that the residents of Chicago and people who come to Chicago have a very enjoyable experience.
A federal judge today also approved a city plan to limit some of the largest protest marches planned for the DNC. A route that will cover a little more than a mile, starting at Union Park, heading down Washington to Hermitage, where it'll then jog to the right and then a block later to the left on Maypole, something a coalition of protest groups had complained about.
She ruled that the city met its legal burden to put us within sight and sound. We recognize that the legal burden was met. We have argued from day one, if you remember, that when they tried to bury us over on Columbus Drive, that they were violating our First Amendment rights.
Now, the Palestinian group says it does plan to appeal the judge's decision. It also plans to work with the city on speaking engagements at Union Park and Park 578. That's the one closest to the United Center. They say they want to work out some kind of deal, but in case they don't, they could sue about that as well. Also today, this protest group, which is mainly made of Palestinian organizations, lashed out at the Anti-Defamation League and the Jewish United Fund, saying they are somehow painting them and smearing them and accusing them of wrongdoing. We'll have more on this coming up at 6 o'clock. In the meantime, at the Federal Building, Charlie Wojciechowski, NBC 5 News.
Thank you, Charlie.
A federal judge has approved a city plan to limit some of the largest protest marches that are planned for the Democratic National Convention. The route that's set by the judge will cover a little more than a mile, starting at Union Park. Coalition of protest groups were asking for a wider, longer route that would bring them much closer to the United Center. Now, the ruling comes as downtown businesses, customers, and patients prepare for traffic disruptions during the convention.
As Christian Farr explains, many are looking ahead and making changes to their usual routines.
I'm excited about it.
Quinn McAleer is looking forward to the Democratic National Convention coming to Chicago next week. But Quinn will be working from home because his place of employment downtown told him not to come to the office.
They foresee seeing struggles getting around, using public transportation with all the activity in the area. They decided it would be best for everyone to just designate themselves as work from home for the week.
Safety and security is a major concern for some who work downtown, since protests could extend beyond the United Center. Downtown dentist Christina Flora is not shutting down her practice next week, but she is giving her patients the option to reschedule.
I'm definitely concerned to make sure everyone's safe, but you know, we also have to be open for dental emergencies and patients who will need us to, get to the office.
Well, at least one Loop company is asking their workers to work from home. The Chicago Loop Alliance is encouraging business as usual next week during the DNC.
We're encouraging and recommending that businesses encourage their employees to come to work, at least if you're in the Loop.
For the past few months, the Chicago Loop Alliance's Kiana DeStasi says they have been meeting with Loop businesses about safety and security concerns ahead of the DNC. DeStasi says Chicago is used to handling major events, and next week's convention should be no different.
None of our member businesses are recommending or encouraging people to work from home. We've heard of a couple folks who give people the option, but people already have that option in a lot of workplaces.
In the Loop, Christian Farr, NBC 5 News.
5 days to go until the Democratic National Convention, and this morning, people who live near the United Center are confused about where to park. Signs and barricades are going up in places and at times they did not expect. NBC 5's Kye Martin joins us live with more about the disruption. Good morning, Kye.
Yes, okay, to clarify, a lot of people had about 36 hours to figure out what to do with their vehicle, and they said that just felt like not enough time. I'm here at Washington and Damon, and we're outside the United Center security perimeter, but this right here is inside the tow zone. And if you notice, there is that black Camry behind me. It's been parked here all morning. Yeah, that driver's in the tow zone, and when they come out, that car's not going to be here for much longer. It's definitely going to be towed sometime in the very near future. So, Kate, the towing started at around 8 this morning. We saw just a few city crews out because, again, most people around here saw the no parking signs within the last 2 days or so, and they did move. If you've ever had the awful experience of getting towed in Chicago, it's at least $300 to get your car back. Now, CDOT tells me just a few minutes ago that its outreach and signs were up to snuff. They worked well with the security officials with the DNC to minimize impact, they tell me. But with these tow zones enforced now through next Sunday, the 25th, that doesn't change the disruption to people's lives.
It's like they're putting us in prison, all in the sake of a Democratic convention. We're on the outside of this. Like, we're not in there. We don't know what goes on in there. And I'm sure they got Secret Service that can protect them, whatever. But what about us? Like, they don't care?
A little frustrating, but I mean, what are we going to do? So we're just trying to get, follow the rules. We don't want to have to pay any extra money for the cars to be towed. I don't know if everyone knew about the parking restrictions were going to be because we can't even park down the street for like 3 blocks.
And a lot of the renters are telling us they wish their landlords had better solutions for them. For example, we met a woman, she and her husband both have separate vehicles, and they wish they had a second parking pass or some church lot to go to, something like that. The general feeling out here, Kate, is that the neighbors in this area, they're like David and the DNC is Goliath, and they just have to go along with the plan from, again, the convention officials. Reporting live here on Washington and Damon, I'm Kye Martin. I'll send it back to you.
I can imagine that must be frustrating. Thank you for the update, Kye.